And we're back with another video. Today I am showing you a time lapse of a TV that I tried to repair. So I bought a 70-inch Vizio TV off of KSL, and it was functioning, except for the backlights. The LED backlights were going out, and so I had a bunch of dark spots. And so I found out that you could buy the LEDs for, $90. And there were videos showing you how to fix it. And I said, I worked at a TV repair shop for a while. Why can't I do this? So this is me tearing down the set. We had to pull off the back panel. You can see all the screws that we had to remove. Right now I'm removing some ribbon cables, and those two ribbon cables pretty much pass power and all of the visual data down to the entire display. It's pretty interesting. Anyways, I'm taping the speakers off there so that when I flip the display over, they don't fall out because I pulled the back panel off. What I'm doing right here is I'm actually squeezing these little plastic retaining widgets that would they hold these little spikes on the inside. Well, you won't be able to see them very well later, but anyways, I found out later I didn't need to actually do that. So I went and removed the bezel there, and now I'm removing this retaining ring. Oh, okay, so this is us removing the LCD. That was the LCD itself. Those things are skinny. I mean, it's just skinny. I mean, you're talking about less than a 1/16 of an inch, or maybe a 1/16 of an inch. Maybe that's about a good representation. Those are the diffusion filters that I just pulled off there. And this is the retaining ring for the other diffusion filters, and also kind of it was the set piece where the LCD actually sits in. Okay, so we can actually see the LCDs at this point, and there's this white film that's placed on there to get maximum kind of usage of the light that's being bounced around in there. Anyways, there's these little tabs that we had to pull off, and so I had my girls grabbing them as they flipped off all over the room. You can see them helping me out here. Now I'm removing the old LED strips. There's 16 of them, and putting the new ones in. And I realized that these little tabs that we popped out everywhere, I was going to have to put all those back in, and that I needed to separate. They're in two pieces. There's a piece that sits in the board, and then another piece that pushes through a hole in that piece and creates almost like a rivet type connection. Anyway, so I had my girls pulling those apart as best they could, but their fingers started hurting at one point. So I told them I would do it. So I did. Alright, anyway, so I got smart here and I started removing all of the strips after I figured out how the first couple went in. And you can see me pulling those apart and creating a pile right there of those little rivets, plastic rivets, a good way to describe those. Alright, and then I got these all placed down, and I said, hey, Katie, how about you go and plug all of these in for me? And so she does that. Anyways, the downfall happened when we pulled the LCD out. Everything else on this teardown and fix worked, except there were these little metal tabs that I didn't notice. I was watching a tutorial video on how to do this, and they had a similar model to this TV, but not the exact one that they were tearing down. Anyways, what ended up happening is when we put those suction cups on the screen and we pulled the LCD out, the upper left-hand corner caught one of those metal tabs. The whole thing flexed a little bit, and most of them just slipped out, but the top half did not. And you'll see a little later here that we ended up popping the LCD screen, so it has this broken, cracked look. But we're really close. We were really close, so I feel kind of bad. We spent a couple $100 trying to save a couple $100. So that's us putting back on the diffusion filter. So you have those LED lights, then they have 3 layers, real heavy, thick layers of diffusion, so you get an even spread of light throughout the display. Alright, there goes on the second and third layer, or first and second, depending on how you look at it. There's two kind of filmy. Oh, this was kind of interesting actually. we thought that it needed to be cleaned off, and so we started wiping a small spot. If you look really close, kind of towards the center, there's a little off-color spot on there. Anyway, there's some sort of a film on there we were destroying by doing that, and so we stopped trying to clean it. Lots of screws, lots and lots and lots of screws, and I only ended up with about 3 or 4 leftover screws and rivets, which I thought was pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, oh, there we are, putting the screen back on, and I didn't realize until I powered it up that we had popped it, just because it's hard to see until there's power passing through it. So everything from about 2.5 minutes into this video forward was essentially a waste of time. I mean, the whole thing was technically a waste of time, I guess, outside of the experience. In the time-lapse video, it's kind of fun to watch this thing go in and out. And it was getting it aligned again there. That was kind of tricky. And this is where I realized that those metal tabs were important to take off before you put the LCD back on, and before you take it off. Actually, it was about this point that I realized, crap, we might have broken it. In fact, I noticed up in the upper left-hand corner there's this teeny little chip. I was like, it's not very big. Maybe it's fine. I'll put it all back together anyways. So, put it back together. There's the bezel. There's all the screws. All the external screws that went with the plastic back piece and the bezel I kept in one little container, and then everything that was internal I kept in the other container. There we go. Alright, then I had my daughter come over here and she helped me flip that over. Get the ribbon cable back in, get the IR cable back on, reattach the base mounting receivers, which didn't need to take off, I found out later, and get the back piece on here. I said I had some hope that maybe that little chip wasn't going to do anything that bad, but as you'll see here in just a second, after I get all this back together, let me go ahead and put it back up, and flip the camera up here shortly. Oh, there it is, right there. I slowed it down for you. So you can see the upper left-hand corner is all cracked, which ended up affecting the entire display. But the backlights look a lot better. I've got an even fill across a broken TV, and now I get to throw the thing away. Thanks for watching.